The Mercedes Benz C-Class story. On December 8, 1982, the press and the public had a big surprise from Mercedes Benz. The new 190 and 190E were presented. It didn't have any predecessor. It didn't replace anything. It was just but the beginning. The angular design of the car was a surprise and made other vehicles from this era look outdated. The big improvements in the safety area showed the world that the baby Benz was as safe as a big S-Class saloon. It was started by two engine variants, one equipped with a carburetor and another with a mechanical fuel injection provided by Bosch. The new multi-link rear suspension was revolutionary. Each rear wheel was led by an independent control arm. The system avoids unwanted steering movements of the wheel and as a plus, offered more comfort, and it was lighter than many other rear suspension systems. Mercedes-Benz never dropped the ball and never looked back with the successful introduction of the W202, 203, 204, and now with this brand new W205. Launched in 2014 at the North American International Auto Show, the C-Class W205 was the first model in its segment to feature electronically controlled pneumatic suspension, or commonly referred to as airmatic, and can also be fitted with a heads-up display, low-speed autonomous driving system, and variable dynamics, while the fuel economy has been improved up to 20% on all engines. Now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you the version of the 2020 Mercedes C-Class. Are you ready? So you've just earned your first major paycheck, and I can tell you for a fact it's time to upgrade. You have a choice. You can decide to either choose the Audi A4, the BMW 3 Series, or the Mercedes Benz C-Class. What makes it different from the rest of the herd? Let's start with the cabin. Inside, as you can see, the quality and the bespoke nature of the Mercedes C-Class denotes premiumness. And in this class, in this segment, it's very, very competitive. As you can see, the design perspective, Mercedes have gone to the modern chic way of designing a vehicle. So you have two-tone aspect. On the top, you do have stitched leather in grey color, and denoting it, besides it from the glove box, is a stainless steel excerpt that gives this car a premium look and feel. And moving over to the center instrument binnacle, as you can see here, you do have a tablet style design that actually houses the command system. Command system basically is Mercedes' way of telling you this is the multi-information display system that houses the navigation, the radio, Bluetooth connectivity, and so much that Mirig is going to tell us much more later, and of course all the aspects of this particular car. As you can see, the flowing panel goes from the tablet style design all the way to the gear shift panel. Now on the gear shift, there is no traditional gear shift. Right here is space where you can control the command system. So you have a rotary design button that actually controls the different menus inside here that Mirig is going to tell us much more about it. And obviously you do have on the left hand side, you do have park sensors and of course parktronic ability and start stop technology, just to ensure that you remain safe in the Mercedes C-Class. Now as you move over to the instrument binnacle, this is where the magic happens. If you love power, performance, you get all the critical information to your eyes courtesy of this design. The instrument cluster on the left hand side is a traditional stick and needle, and obviously you do have the speedometer and the tachometer, and in between you do have a color display screen that looks like an iPhone that gives you all the vital information, temperature, range, all those things you need to find when you're driving this particular car. Now the steering wheel as well is very comfortable, stitched leather. The gear shift has moved from the center console to this particular right hand stalk over here, and then you do have these buttons that allow you to actually control the gearbox, the 7G gearbox. For the digital information display command and of course the seating arrangement, and at the back we're going to hand over the reins to Mr. Mirigi. He's going to give us a lowdown on how this particular car is, how comfortable it is, and of course we're going to take it on the road and drive and feel this particular car.
So coming to the front of this car, of course, now like Trevor mentioned, we have what is called the Mercedes Command System, which stands for Cockpit Management and Data System, which basically is the multimedia interface that allows you to interact with the car itself. Now this car has a lot of technology, and how you access it is through this screen and this system. Now one thing I like about it is the fact that there are very many ways to interact with this system. You can use what is over here now, the touchpad. Over here down is called the command controller, or you can use the buttons, touch-sensitive buttons on the side of the steering wheel. There are two of them. You might remind you of the BlackBerry from old. So the one on the left controls the one on the screen, and then the one on the right controls the one that you're seeing in the middle over here. So basically what these allow you to do is interact with this system. So in terms of technology, you have access to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which gives you access to maps as well as voice assistant services. This car is also fitted, like Trevor said, standard with park assist feature, which we're going to take you through in a few moments. So the park assist feature on the Mercedes Benz, all you do is just press the park assist button over here, and then you basically drive forward and let the car's sensors look for a parking space. So you can see over here that the car has actually found a parking space. So all I need to do is just select to confirm. Choose the direction. I said I want to park in reverse. So it's telling me to engage the reverse gear. And from that point, the car is just going to take over. And there you go. Now, one of the interesting things about this feature that sets it apart from any other feature on any other car is that you can also use it to get out of the parking that you've gotten into. So all you do is start the car like I've done just now, and then you press that function and accept, and it will do the same things to get you out of the space. So again, in addition to parking the car, it's also going to get the car out of the space without you having to touch any of the steering. And that, I have to say, is a pretty smart feature. So all you do at this point is touch the accelerator and you can continue with your trip. Coming down to the back of the C-Class, and you can see why many people call this the baby S-Class, because I'm sitting the lap of luxury over here. The seats are really spectacular, and like Trevor mentioned, these materials are very, very nice. You have this Artico leather, you have these wood inserts, two-tone leather, and I like the fact that all of the switches are actually metal. It's a very premium thing to sit inside. In terms of storage, they have storage bins on the side here, and actually what I like about it is the fact that this seat is set to my driving position. I'm 5'9", and there's enough space for my knees and my feet over here. 3 adults can sit across, but the guy in the middle is going to be a bit squeezed because there's a very large transmission tunnel, because you have to remember at the end of the day this is a rear wheel drive car. For people with families, you do have ISOFIX points for fitting a car seat that are on both outboard seats to make sure that you can keep your family safe. Coming around to the boot of the Mercedes C-Class, the first thing that you have to notice is because of the keyless go system, all I need to do with the key in my pocket is just swing my foot under here and the boot opens, revealing 480 liters of boot capacity, which is the same as the Audi A4 and the BMW 3 Series. There's a lot of space inside here, but it's also key to note that there is no spare tire because this runs flat tires. It also has a very interesting system called independent boot locking that allows you to leave your valuables in the boot as you give the car to somebody, maybe in a car wash, or you've lent the car to somebody, to make sure your valuables are kept safe inside here. Well, let's take this on the road and see what that 2-liter engine has to offer.
It's a beautiful day out here and I'm driving the brand new C-Class. Now, as you know, the C-Class comes from a heritage of performance executive compact saloons that compete with the likes of the BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, and of course the Jaguar XE. So what's this new model all about? Well, I can tell you it's built from the modular rear architecture by Mercedes-Benz that now also houses the E-Class and the S-Class, and of course the GLA, the GLC, GLE. All these cars now are using this similar platform because of its inherent structural rigidity. It's stiffer, 33% stiffer than the previous model, and obviously has 100 kg light-saving component, making this car have a good power-to-weight ratio. So the car that I'm driving today has a 4-cylinder. It's a 2-liter C200 that produces 150 kilowatts and 300 newton meters of torque, and the power is sent to the rear wheels courtesy of a 7-speed 7G Geartronic transmission that allows me, if I move to sport, to sound and move like this. Listen to that. I am accelerating and I can tell you the power delivery is linear. The turbocharged engine picks up very well from as low as 1700 RPMs and giving you a boost all the way to 4000 RPMs. It's a high revving engine. It's very balanced, very quiet and very precise. The suspension setup on this Mercedes C-Class is fantastic. You don't get to feel all the road imperfections because the front wishbones and the rear integral link suspension allows this car to be very planted on the road and of course gives you that planted feel, especially when you are driving it hard and aggressive on any kind of surface. So obviously it has a mix of active and passive safety features, plenty of them in fact, because Mercedes-Benz are the originators of the safety system. So let's talk about anti-lock braking system, which is now standard across most cars. ESP, electronic stability control, and of course adaptive cruise control that allows you to control and monitor the speed at any given moment and match to the car that's in front of you. And obviously you do have the new ones, the newbies. So you have lane departure assist, cross traffic alert, rear cross traffic alert, and many others that have these synonyms making this car very, very safe. But in case all hell breaks loose and the Grim Reaper wants a piece of you, can rely on the multiple airbags, which are 6 that are strewn across this cabin, and obviously you do have safety belts which ensure that you remain on your seat, and of course a 5-star safety rating cell that protects you and your family from harm's way, which is so important because remember, when you're driving a compact vehicle, an executive vehicle, all these factors are put into place to ensure that you have a full and well-rounded package. But it's time for value for money. So ladies and gentlemen, we've sampled the Mercedes C-Class and I can tell you, it's got pizzazz, it's got style, it's got finesse, it's got performance that you so desire every day, and of course at a budget-friendly price for a compact executive saloon car. But Mr. Murigi, how much does this car cost?
Well, starting with the C180, which is the entry-level grade, we're looking at 61,200 euro, but the car that we have tested today is a C200 coming in at 77,000 euro.
For those who are worried about warranties, how many years does it come with and what's the warranty like?
Well, for a first on this show, we are looking at a 2-year unlimited kilometer warranty, which means that as long as those 2 years are in force, it doesn't matter how far you go, where you go, they have you covered. That's how confident they are in the engineering that it has taken to make this car what it is.
And finally, since you've talked about the C-Class, what are the rivals in this particular segment?
Like you mentioned, we are talking about compact executive saloons. So we are looking obviously at the BMW 3 Series, which we reviewed in the previous season, and the Audi A4, as well as the Jaguar XE, which is also sold in this Kenyan market.
Well, that's it, guys. So are you convinced that the C-Class will definitely win your heart? Let us know. I'll send our social media handles below and let you know how it is next week. Well, signing out, this is Big Boy Trev.
This is Mirigi. Drive safe
and be safe.